Hello and welcome to Property Money Trees Maximising Property Values, the once a month show where I break down the steps of how to recognise, enhance, and then extract the values in property in order to create wealth. Would you like to find out how you can benefit from the steps of maximising property values? This is even if you don't own a property yet or have a deposit. If that's a yes, then you're in the right place to find out. My name is Patricia Faber, and although many know me for my work as a solicitor, on this show you will be getting the benefit of my 30 plus years worth of experience of maximising property values, experience which has given me a net worth in millions. So who might benefit from listening to this show? Literally anyone with an interest in creating property wealth. Welcome back. So the past examples that I've given regarding enhancing property values have been very straightforward, very simple ways of enhancing values without increasing the footprint of the property in question. Today I'm going to be talking about a slightly different example, and this is one that I actually advised on. So the building itself was a two-storey Victorian house which had been converted into two flats. It was in a very nice part of South London. The ground floor was a one-bedroom flat, so it had a bedroom, a lounge, a kitchen and a bathroom, and a very, very large garden. The first floor contained a two-bedroom flat, and that had two bedrooms. They were quite good sizes, a lounge, a kitchen and a bathroom, but no garden. The client owned the first floor flat, so what I advised them to do was to make an offer to buy the ground floor flat. Now, fortunately, the owner of the ground floor flat was actually thinking about selling. So at the time, the ground floor flat was worth about £320,000. My client had bought the first floor flat for £320,000, and it was worth about £325,000 when they started to consult me. Both flats were in a relatively poor state of repair, but they were still worth those particular amounts. So anyway, we made an offer to the owner of the ground floor flat. They accepted, which worked out brilliantly for them because they, as I said, they had been thinking about selling, and if they'd put it on the market with an estate agent, it may have taken them a while to secure an offer, which may or may not have been at £320,000 because, as I said, it was quite run down. And also, they would have had to have paid the estate agent a commission for selling the flat. And by selling to my client, they were able to actually complete the transaction within 6 weeks. And then once my client had both flats, what I then advised them to do was to then buy the freehold. So each of these flats actually had a long lease, and they still had more than 120 years each to run on their leases. So the freehold itself, when I worked out how much it was worth, and there are various calculators on the internet where you can work out how much a freehold is worth, each said that the freehold was worth between like £5,500 and £6,000. But I said to the client, look, go in, say to the freeholder, I want the whole building. It really is only worth about £5,500. And obviously what we did was we enclosed a copy of the calculations that valued it at £5,500, but willing to pay £10,000 just to kind of like, sweeten the deal, get it through. And the freeholder literally bit our hands off. Couldn't believe that we were willing to pay nearly twice as much as what it was worth, but there was a reason for that. Now, once my client had both flats and the freehold, she was able to do what we'd actually spoken about when she first came to me. And the plan was this: go into the loft from the first floor to create more living space. So the 2-bedroom flat was going to become a 3-bedroom flat, with the master bedroom having a really nice ensuite bathroom. We were going to keep the kitchen in a separate room, the lounge in a separate room, and still obviously keep the family bathroom. We were also going to give that flat garden access, because flats on that road commanded more money, well, they do everywhere really in the country, when they have a bit of garden. And we were able to do that because she owned both flats and owned the freehold. So the minute she bought both flats and the freehold, the leases ceased to exist. And it's just a legal term because apparently you can't be both the freeholder and leaseholder. So once the same person owns leases and the freehold, the leases effectively just disappear and you're left with the freehold. So that was a plan for the first floor flat. So 3 bedrooms, an extra bathroom and garden space. Now for the ground floor, what we wanted to do was to extend out. The garden was actually quite big. Extend out, create another bedroom to give us like 2 bedrooms, but each bedroom was going to have an ensuite bathroom and a kind of like a walk-in closet. And because the bedrooms had ensuite bathrooms, we then needed a cloakroom so that if visitors came round, they wouldn't have to walk through a bedroom in order to use a toilet should they need to do so. And then the kitchen was done in an open plan way, so it was like a massive kitchen lounge, which was just absolutely gorgeous. And the flat still had some garden. So the ground floor flat then had 2 bedrooms, each with its own ensuite bathroom, a cloakroom, and this massive kitchen, lounge, diner. Gorgeous. Both flats were completely refurbished, brand new windows. We took each flat back to bricks, did a thermal upgrade, did an acoustic upgrade, new skirting, new architraves, new flooring, new kitchens, new bathrooms, new plumbing, new central heating systems, new boilers, new literally everything. But it was so worth it, because my client then, after having bought her flat for 320, the flat downstairs for 320, that took her to 640. The freehold for 10, 650. She spent 140,000 on the works. That took her to 790. But when she finished, each of those flats were valued at, well, the ground floor flat was valued at £495,000, and the first floor flat was valued at £510,000. So both flats together were now worth more than £1 million. And that really was for works which took I think it was just under 8 months to complete. And in those 8 months, she'd enhanced the value of her property by more than £200,000. So, okay, this was a little bit more complicated, because in going into the loft and extending, we had to apply for planning permission, because although there were no leases relating to the flats because they'd collapsed into the freehold, they were still flats. They were nevertheless flats. And permitted development rights don't apply to flats. So the loft extension required planning permission, and the ground floor extension also required planning permission. But because what we did was quite tasteful and very spacious inside each of those flats, the planners had no problems whatsoever in granting the permission that we wanted, and it worked out, perfectly in the end. So in terms of risk, in terms of time, I would maybe put this at a kind of like medium project, medium effort project. So the ones that I have spoken about in the past, they would be, I'd say, perhaps straightforward, minimum effort. But this particular one did require a bit more effort, a bit more planning. We had to wait for the planning to come through, but in that time we were able to start the refurbishment works. So when the planning did come through, it didn't take us very long really to kind of like, do those particular bits of extensions and complete the works. There's more than one way of enhancing property values, and I shall continue to give examples of the different ways, because this particular way did take a little bit of like forward thinking, of understanding the law a little bit and understanding the steps that would be required in order to maximise the values in those properties. 1, the extensions. 2, regarding the first floor flat, by giving it some garden space and therefore increasing its value. It was very, very satisfying, extremely satisfying, but more so for my client.
Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that at the very least you have found the talk thought-provoking. There will be some bonus scenes being released over the next few weeks, so please do come back. If you enjoyed the show, please do subscribe. In any event, please do rate and review the episode, because it would be great to read your feedback. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you next month.